What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Bobby Fi here, flying solo. Sheets has got some other things going on tonight, but he did update the projections, I believe, as did Goldie. We're going to be talking through this 6-game slate on DraftKings, 8-game slate on FanDuel. I believe it's 8, right? Yeah. So it's an interesting slate. The Boston-Toronto game is only on the DraftKings slate, not on the FanDuel slate. We did get finally a Toronto lineup out after the first game earlier, so those are all updated. You can see they're updating right now. But saying what I'm going to do here. Okay, so I'm going to start off with FanDuel since it starts a little bit earlier. So let's go over there first. I did update my core and everything, so you guys can check that stuff out when you have a chance, if you remember, all that stuff, etc. Wanted to remind everybody, one of the great things that I think we do offer here at TrueDFS is these multiple projection sets. We've got Goldies, we've got Sheets, and then we've, of course, got SaberSim, who we're partnered with as well. So this is, we're going to be looking at them. And you can see the numbers are mostly pretty close, but there are some spots where it's going to be a little bit different. And I tend to find that in terms of ownership that Goldie and Sheets tend to have a pretty good feel for it. Now, that's not factoring in late swapping and all that stuff. And as Sheets always says, if you're going to play optimally, you got to be swapping, especially if you're playing large numbers of lineups, using the SaberSim to update it and really, really try and take advantage of it. I think it's a really, really great tool. So we did want to remind people that. Anyway, so jumping over. All right, so Wheeler is going to be the most popular quarterback, the most popular pitcher. I already got football in the brain. Wheeler's going to be the most popular pitcher on the FanDuel slate. I think that's pretty safe to say. I think it's a little ambitious to just assume to play him against the Houston team that just doesn't strike out against righties as the most popular pitcher. I would rather play Bryce Miller, and in my one big buy-in FanDuel lineup, I am playing Bryce Miller just to give that away. I do like Ober here, and we'll get to that on DraftKings. I'm a little concerned about the weather there. We could have some potential rain popping up in the middle of the game, but it shouldn't. Actually makes me feel more comfortable with the pitching than it does with the hitting. So I have Ober I have it Miller Ober. Sorry, I have a Miller Pepio Ober Wheeler on FanDuel as far as pitching goes. If you wanted to get a little ambitious, take a shot with Cortez or Mitch Keller. Totally fine with it. Not doing it myself. All right, position wise or stack wise. So I like on the FanDuel slate, you're going to see how crazy this ownership is on these Yankees. I mean, you're talking about 40%. I actually have Aaron Judge in my big buy lineup as a one-off, but my 4-3 stack should be low owned enough to where I can get away with it. In general, just when it comes to golfers not named Scotty, although people might be rethinking that one now after what happened this Sunday. But anyway, so I'm gonna, you know what? I can see stuff in chat here. What's up, MJ? Good to see you. Corey's saying that he's trying to update to the ultimate, but it's not giving him an option. Corey, do me a favor, just DM Goldie in Discord, and he can walk you through it. I can't do it right now while I'm on air, but it should be there. I'm not really sure why it's not there. And even if you got the package, it'll prorate it forward from what you're already paying. So sorry about that, Corey, but if you don't mind DMing Goldie in Discord, it's probably the fastest way to get it done. Sorry you're having some trouble with it, but yeah, I would encourage the ultimate membership for anybody, and I think it's awesome, and I'm happy that Corey's aboard. And sorry it's been a little bit of a hassle. There could be something just you might need to refresh or log out and log in, but Goldie knows that stuff a little bit better than I do. Anyway, back to stacks. So one thing I will not do is I would set a rule of not having more than 3 Yankees. I do not want to play the chalk stack on FanDuel when they're talking about this types of incredibly high ownership. And I'll take it a step further. I'm not really playing Miami over there either. And Colorado is the one I can sort of stomach because the ownership is low enough to where I can stomach it. But I'm going more with San Diego and St. Louis personally. You'll hear that from me on DraftKings as well. I think Detroit is completely viable. We know the White Sox bullpen is terrible, and we have the Davis Martin who can go one way or another on. I don't really have incredible takes, but I do think getting a low-owned Detroit stack here or a lower-owned Detroit stack along with San Diego, St. Louis, Colorado, those are my favorite ones to play on the FanDuel slate, even though, again, I still think that Judge, when he goes through these tears, I don't mind eating a little chalk with him. I just don't want to play the full stack at that high of ownership personally. So those are the teams I like over there. On DraftKings, it's pretty similar for me in terms of the hitting because I think that people are all going to play the Yankees over on FanDuel, so I'm playing San Diego, St. Louis with a one-off of Judge in my big buy-in over there. On DraftKings, it's going to be mostly San Diego, St. Louis for me, and Colorado. I do think that Colorado's ownership will be lower than Miami. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about both sides of my mouth here because I like Colorado, but I also think it's really smart to get a little bit of exposure to Edward Cabrera here. And his ownership, I think it's closer to what Sheets has got projected for what it's worth. That's my guess is where he ends up. But you look at this strikeout prop. I mean, go through the top pitchers on the slate. He's 6,200. And Edward Cabrera, according to SaberSim, through 5,000 simulations, has the second highest expected strikeouts tonight of any pitcher. I'll gamble, and I'll also gamble on the other side. So I've got 40% Cabrera and like 30% Colorado stacks, and they're combined with San Diego, St. Louis, pieces of Detroit. That's what I'm doing. I think Toronto makes some sense. It's going to be somewhat of a bullpen game. It looks like Criswell is going to come in after Zach Kelly starts it off. And I don't expect Zach Kelly to pitch very long. What do we have him here? Probably going to pay like what inning or something. Let's just see where we've got him. Zach Kelly, 28 pitches. Yeah. So it's a bullpen game. I don't love to stack with some big slates. On smaller slates, I don't mind. I also want to add that I would definitely see what you get if you try to play. Don't make it an automatic. You have to stack 5 men tonight. I just don't think you need to on these 6 gamers. And maybe I think it makes more sense on FanDuel to go 4-4, 4-3-1, something like that, 4-2-2. But I like on DraftKings, doing something pretty similar with them. I mean, obviously you can play up to 5, but I like going a little 4-2-2. I like a little 4-3-1. I have a 3-3-2 lineup that I feel good about in a single entry. So I actually think you can get a little bit different. And in terms of targeting individual hitters here, I'm not going to show all my core plays and I'll leave that for the premium stuff. But I just think you're getting low enough ownership in a good spot. It's 94 degrees in St. Louis, I believe. 94, yeah. And you got a little bit of wind blowing out too. It just feels like a good spot to attack both sides of. And yeah, there's some ownership here, but it's not high enough. And because of the position crossover, it's kind of hard. Like when you play them together, it's just not a build I think that many people are doing. And I think you should treat this like with a huge upgrade. St. Louis is a very average to below average hitters park. I would say that on a day like today, it's a very good hitter's park when you're not talking about 94 degree weather, 50% humidity. The ball should be carrying a little bit. So I'm into this game quite a bit. Again, I took another look. Shout out to Roth. He does a great job. I know we work at different companies. I used to work with him at Roto Grinders. He does a great job, and he's got the game as yellow. I think there is some risk there. So that's why I don't have Ober as my highest owned pitcher. My highest owned pitchers on DraftKings are going to be a little bit odd. I am going to play Bryce Miller and Pepio. Nothing odd about that. Then I'm getting a ton of Ty Madden. I'm going to end up with like 30+%, I think. I'm also going to end up, like I mentioned, with 40% Edward Cabrera, excuse me. I thought it was Eduardo Cabrera. I don't know why I thought that. Anyway, I like the Edward Cabrera. I like that double spend. And now, do you need to on this slate? No. But what is the difference in these projections? It's not even a full strikeout for anyone more than other than Pepio, more than Madden. And then you've got Cabrera, who's got the second highest strikeout expected rate. So it's not even just paying down making sense. Yeah, there's some risk. Yeah, I have some White Sox interest where I'm not playing that. But I think it makes sense to play a decent amount of the Madden and a decent amount of the Edward Cabrera. But those are my get different plays. The ones if you're playing for cash or anything single entry, most of the time, I think you're going to be looking Bryce Miller, Ober, and Pepio from that pool. I like Fried a lot as a real life pitcher. The strikeout upside in this matchup and the fact that Minnesota's got the second highest weighted runs created plus of any team versus lefties is just enough for me to keep off of Fried. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm on the Madden side and I'm on the Cabrera side as the low owned, and I'm playing the chalk guys a little bit less than their expected ownership, at least according to SaberSim. It's a little closer to these numbers over here that Sheets has is actually what I have of those guys. But I am going to put the rest of it into Cabrera and Madden and hope it works out. So let's go. Hey, Rody, what's up, man? Shout out to Rody. He did his best. Didn't take it down this time. I'm sure we'll be hearing from him in live finals in the future. It looked like an absolute ball. I look forward to heering about it, Rody, because you look like you guys were having a great time out there. And got to say, I don't usually get FOMO about the live finals, but I had a little bit of it looking at Rody's Facebook and some of the pictures he was posting. So it looked like a great time. Still coming home with $56,000, something like that. I know it wasn't what you wanted. I know it wasn't what any of us wanted, but great job. And I'm sure you'll be back in a live final, hopefully for football coming up pretty soon. So anyway, did want to mention that real quick. Also wanted to mention, we did raise some of our pricing, but you can now, and I should have put this up on the screen as a caption, use the NFL 24 code. Corey, I'm 100% sure if you write Goldie that he will answer your help. I think that's the right thing to do. I just think it's the easiest thing. And Rody, I'm not seeing it because where I tried to log in, I did look like he was like everything you could upgrade, but for some reason I don't know why it's not showing up for him. So okay, so he's working on the upgrade option. Okay, I appreciate that. Rody. So yeah, I wasn't working on behind the scenes on that one. So sorry about that, Corey. We should have it fixed. I would bet as soon as possible. And if there's anything that we can do in the meantime, feel free to drop any questions in the Discord, tag us, and I will do my best to answer them. Like I said, Sheets is away tonight. Goldie does a pretty good job monitoring. I monitor, and Rody monitors as well. So anyway, guys, we appreciate all of it. I did want to mention again, NFL 24 is the promo code for any new signups. It's 24% off the first month, and see what you like. And then also, we still have the 1099 Ultimate trial up there that I think you guys should give a shot. So I appreciate all that. Anyway, I don't have a whole lot more to add about this slate. It's sort of a small one, getting our feet wet into the week type of deal. I did also want to give a shout out to Sheets. I talked to him earlier about it, but shout out to Sheets for finishing 5th in the 44 on DraftKings. He made 45,000. It could have very easily been 145,000. Could have actually been a little more. But good job by Sheets as always. The guy's just an absolute crusher. I really, really think if you're not a member of the site, you guys should definitely take a look. I think we're offering everything SaberSim offers. We're only a few bucks more. You get all Rody's content, my content, Goldie's projections, Sheets' projections, Brandon Cruz for NASCAR. Really good solid team, and probably going to be expanding the roster in the near future. Look forward to keeping you guys tuned on that. But appreciate all you guys very much. And if there's nothing else or no more questions or anything about the slate, I'm probably going to get out of here. But I will be monitoring the Discord. Okay, like this, Jimmy's popping in with the favorite FanDuel shortstop. So let's take a look. I think my answer is going to end up being Mason Wynn, but let's see what we've got over here. And I think Lopez is the chalk answer. If you're playing cash, I would probably play Lopez. I am personally playing Mason Wynn in tournaments because of the low ownership, and I like the St. Louis-San Diego game very, very much, as I mentioned a number of times. So I would say that Wynn is my favorite. Lopez is the cash game option that you want to go with, where you can use them all over the place. I would probably say Volpe is the next best bet, but the problem is I think that ownership is actually going to be above 20% on him. So that I probably would lean more down. You have a really cheap Trey Turner. It's a good position. So I maybe you don't use Otto Lopez there. You just use a shortstop only. Like I said, I like Wynn. Trey Turner's too cheap. Volpe is going to be a part of Yankee stacks, but I'm not going to make those Yankee stacks myself. Lopez, you could use him at another position. I'm not into the Brujan. Again, I would play him somewhere else. I think O'Neal Cruz is a very viable option. So it's actually a pretty loaded position. I think there's a lot of guys to consider. I personally am going with Wynn the most. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all very much. Thanks for everything. And by the way, yeah, let's get it tonight. Sorry, I want to see some screenshots. I want to see some winners. MJ took one down. Shout out to MJ for taking one down. He came in second last week in the night slate, which was a nice win. He said he was getting beaten up on the rain slate. Hey, it's always fun to pop in the night slate when you can do that. So thanks again, everybody. Please like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow. And we'll see you in the Discord with some screenshots later on, hopefully. Good luck, everybody.